Hello, welcome back to one of my videos. This video is on an MX5 Eunos 97 model, 1.8. Its rear brakes cleaning up. It did have new brakes on it a while back with the previous owner. As you can see, there's some brand new calipers there. The discs and pads were new, but because it's been laid up for a while, they needed servicing. And also, a lot of people don't realise, but he couldn't get a handbrake on it. I'll just lower the car down and all that. But I'm a pretty dab hand with these old calipers on these, not from these Mazdas, but if you notice, handbrake cable straight up. There's no effort or nothing, do you know what I mean? The handbrake don't work at all on this car. So I'm just going to sort this out. Right off thing. So just raise it back up again. I did do a short video on the front disc and pads that I cleaned up, but I didn't do all the video. But so I've cleaned up all the front discs and pads. They were pretty new as well, but just rusty. So I'll do a full video on these ones. So the first thing I'm going to do on these is there's a little cap in here, which I can see if I can get to. It's just on the bottom there, which just basically you pull off from there. Little cap here, wherever the bloody. So yeah, so underneath the cap, it reveals just here. There's a 10mm bolt head, which is the slider of the caliper. So then you undo that, pull the bolt out, which I'll show you in a moment, and then you lift the caliper up, slide it over, and that will come off. But I'll show you further pictures of that in a moment. Right, so now the 10mm slide bolt is there, as you can see. Oh, how awkward this is. And then what I'm going to do is I'll undo the bolt, which is here, there, and I'll pull it out, which it looks like that. Bit dry, that is. I always put a bit of copper grease on these so they slide a bit better. It's not binding or nothing. It feels a little bit heavyish, but I don't think it's the caliper. I think it's just that the pads in there are a bit stuck in for time. So now what you'll do here, you notice there's like a little spring clip just up here. So I always pull it out with my fingers, like so. Careful it don't ping out or anything. That hooks in to there and there on the other pad, and it lays against this metal, or this stainless steel caliper slider, brake slider thing here, and that sort of loads of spring that holds the shoes open, pulls them away from the discs. That does. So next stage, lift the caliper up, which is a bit of a struggle with one hand, and then slide it off like so. So it reveals your pads. Oh yeah, these pads are quite stuck in. Yeah, that's just because I always use copper grease. People say no, don't, but so but I'm old fashioned. I've been in the game 30 odd years, and I've always been taught to use copper, and I'll always use copper. It was right or wrong today, I don't know. There's a lot of controversy over it, so I'll give them a little pull out, which you see how they come out. They was sort of seized in there. We've got to watch out as soon as you take the second pad out here, this little clip here, or the slider, and that one there is going to drop. So if you've got two hands free, then you could catch it, but because I'm holding the camera, ain't going to happen. So I'll just take a chance and find them when they drop. God, that one's just seized in there. Well, that one is. she's in there, that one is. I'm just trying to hold it. Well, I'm just going to put the camera down for a second. Yeah, little gentle thud with a screwdriver in my hand. That he dropped out. This is, we got watch you don't lose. That's what the pads sit on and they slide on, and that. The other one dropped down there on the floor. I knew that would ping out. I'll pick that up in a minute. So next step I'm going to do is just move this caliper out of the way. And behind here, to hold the caliper carrier on. Just put the torch in there now. Try not to blind you guys. There's one bolt here. There. And there's one bolt a bit higher up there, which is a 14mm, and that will release the caliper carrier. So I shall now get that off and show you the next step. So there you go, that's the 2 bolts removed from behind there. And just move this torch so it doesn't dazzle you. So there you go, from there. It's like a cave in this bloody place it is. It's so dark. So them 2 are undone. Just pull the caliper slider off, which you can see she's no maintenance in there. I always put grease underneath them. Stop. What happens is the rust underneath builds up, and then as it builds up, it pushes them sliders, or the brake shoe bits what they fit onto, it pushes them up, and that nips the pads in place. That does. So then now what you're going to do is just pull the disc off. There we go. Go over here. The disc is in good condition really. It looks worse than it is. Bringing some better light over here. So it was a new one a little while ago. It's just where it's been standing up. So what I usually do on these is, as you can see, I use some 36 grit emery cloth, top roll emery cloth. Give the brake pad area where it rubs in. You have to have good strong arms for this, because it does take a little while to do, and when you've got 2 discs to do, you've got obviously 4 sides to do. But there you go, as you can see, she's come up really nice. There you go. And same again with the back side. It clearly don't need no new discs, but I'm struggling to do this one on this. So what I'll do is I'll get this disc cleaned up, then I'll show you the picture afterwards. Right, so there we go, clean the disc up. As you can see, it's nice and flat. Disc didn't do nothing, so I should imagine it was just fitted and stood up again, or when it was. So there's the inside. I mean, these marks here, just where recently I've been moving it in and out, that's just where the calipers are stopped, or the shoes are stopped on the disc. And obviously, because there was rusty marks, that's just where they sat, but there's nothing bad there or nothing that wouldn't come off. You know, soon bedding nicely they will. I don't worry about this bit here, it ain't worth it, because the pads don't go in nowhere near that. There's about 1.5 mil height in there. That's obviously the wear, what the disc will do. I'll give this face here a quick little sanding up just to clean that up. So now I'll just clean the caliper carrier up. Now I'll do this. Yes, you can see that's, I will need 2 hands for this part. So I'll just explain what I'm going to do and show you the aftermath. See where they are. Down there. And there it's quite rusty. It's sort of swollen with rust. I do it quite simply. I'll do it in the old bench grinder, and then if it's too bad and I can't get to anything, and then I'll just get a file and just finish cleaning it out in the small cracks or the edges that you can't get to with the grinder. But a simple procedure. I'll go back in a moment and show you. Right, so there we go. I cleaned them up. They was not too bad actually, so I didn't bother have to get a file on them. What I've also done as well is clean the end of the pads up where they go into the caliper carrier. and also from there where they're really shiny, where they've been braking against the roof. I've really done them down, and how I do it. Obviously don't breathe this shit in. It's not asbestos, we do know, but it ain't going to be great, and you don't want that on your lungs anyway. So I'd wear a mask if I was you while you're doing it. Just get a bit of that emery cloth, hold it one side of the hand, sand it motion, put a bit of weight on it, takes the pad to shine off it. Basically it's like new in a condition. I mean, how you get a pad when it's left all roughed up, say it's not as shiny as that. So right, I should be back soon when the caliper carrier's fitted. What I will show you now, actually, while the caliper's sort of in this state, because you're not going to be able to see it very well when it's on the motor, but the adjuster on these calipers for the handbrakes is inside here. You see there's a 14mm bolt on there. So what you have to do, you have to undo that. There's one next to it, as you can see there as well, but that just for the handbrake bracket, cable bracket on there. So don't undo that one, you don't need to. So it's just that one there. So you have to undo. What I'll do is I'll do a little video of it where the spanner is on it, so you can sort of see the angle it's got to go through, and I'll try and do a video from underneath on the ramp as well, if you're lucky enough to have one, or lay underneath it. But obviously if you lay underneath the motor, make sure you've got axle stands, because you don't want it dropping on you if you just use a jack. So I thought I'll just show you that before I go on and fit the caliper and disc. Right, pads are fitted. Always put the outside pad in first, because obviously you can use the outside pad to hold these clips in, or the sliders, whatever you want to call them, the pad sliders. So I'm the old fashioned way. Like I see, I put copper grease underneath where the pad slider goes onto, the stainless steel bit, to stop that from corroding anymore. And also I put it between the pad and that as well. Don't need a lot, just a little bit. I say that holds it in there, and as you can see now, where the pads were before, they are nice and loose in there, and they're not going to cause no problems. So let's see if I can put this caliper on with one hand. Usually can. It's a bit awkward because the handbrake cable fights you. There you go. So the caliper slides on. I did push the piston back a tad. That was easy. I just put a spanner against it and just pushed it with my two thumbs, because it's a new caliper and it did slide in really easy. So there's nothing seized about it, anything there. And on the caliper sliders, I do put a slight bit of copper grease on there. I'll say, here's a bolt. It's only slight in there, don't need a lot. Don't need to be saturated in it. And then you slide your 10mm bolt slider in. And presto, there you go, it goes, it's going in nicely. It goes in well. Just tighten it up with a 10mm spanner, or if you've got a 1/4 inch drive, 10mm ratchet on there, because you ain't got a lot of space between there and there. Your handbrake bracket on a caliper, but it's just as easy to do it, a 10mm spanner. I find it doesn't take long. What I've noticed a lot lately on these new calipers that have been fitted on cars, they always used to come with a cap that goes over the bleed nipple, but a lot of them I notice now don't do it, and that's on new cars and old cars sort of thing. It's just a bit tight, do you know what I mean, and it stops crap from going in there. So I'll see if I've got anything laying about anywhere and put them on there, because obviously if you ever need to change a brake pipe, whatever, need to bleed a caliper up in time, or the pipe in time, and that's full of crap, you've got to take it out, poke the hole out and all that, and just saves inconvenience later. But that's the caliper fitted. And obviously you've got your little cap that goes on the end of that, just pushes on, and presto, that is it. So next I shall get the spanner out, the 14mm, and I'll put it onto the bolt we got to remove to adjust the handbrake from. Back soon. Right, as I showed you a little earlier on in the video about this 14mm, where it is, if you sort of try and dive over the camera, over here, the bolt is there. there, but like there's sorry, it's there where my finger was there. There, the one next to it there is obviously the one that holds the bracket on, so it's easy enough to get to. You can get to it from in front of it there with a spanner straight on it. Usually not very tight, little knock down, and then it unscrews. Very easy. It's only a short bolt. It's basically it's just like a cap, really. Just holds the stuff from going into the caliper, and there's usually a copper seal or an aluminium washer on it to stop it from letting water ingress in. And right, here you go. See how right I am? There you go. There's just copper seal on there. I'll lift the ramp up first. I'll do the ramp up now. See if I can show you what's inside it. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. That was a moment while I check this up. Right, slowly but surely the old ramp does it. And then so as you see, I'm not going to be able to see a lot in there, but you see where it's come out of there, where the hole is. But inside there is a Allen key. I believe it is a 4mm, but I'll confirm that in a minute. Okay, back soon. Well, it is a 4mm Allen key, like I thought. I say you insert it into the hole, and then what you do is, there we go, yeah, it's never been adjusted out, that. How many screws that's going in. I sort of turn it till you just feel it sort of nip the shoes together, or the pads together. Go a little bit more. There you go, so it's nipped them together a bit, and I always slack them off a quarter to a third of a turn. Where we're looking. So, quarter turn, let's just test that. Yeah, it feels like okay to me. So you just, what I've been doing as well, I've been sort of cheating. I've been doing the other side as well at the same time. So, as you can see, disc's all clean. I've just been showing him one side, and yeah, so I've been doing it at the same time. So they both seem adjusted now. I'm going to lower the handbrake down and see what lower the car down and see what the handbrake's like. Right, so the car is now lowered down. Let's have a look. So just check the wheels on. Nice and free. I always try and get them to start working on 2 notches. So that's 2 notches there. Yeah, still getting there, it's nice, tightening up nicely. 3 notches. Yeah, it's even tougher. 4. Yep, can't turn that booty. Put a screwdriver in there. Cut it. Oh, excuse the French. 5. No. Just slightly turn in. 6. No, no chance in hell. Just the other side. No chance in hell. Just got to bend the screwdriver. That will. So yeah, so got full lock on 6 notches. So that'll conclude my handbrake caliper adjustment. So technically, if the handbrake was fine before it's fitted the handbrake caliper, the calipers on the notches, it shouldn't need adjusting up underneath on the cable, because they're sort of set to pull on that length. If you replace the cables, then obviously you will need to set your handbrake cable up on the adjuster. But so if it was just done on the calipers like this was, it's perfectly fine. So all that's left to do really is, I'll do it in front of you. Let's get your little bolt that covers a hole up. Find it there. Screw it in. There it goes, there. Tighten it up, 14mm. Don't need to be over tight, but say it's just a one just to block the hole up really. You'll only just ruin a copper washer in there. So there, job done. Just make sure it's not binding when we release it. And breaks off. Again. Lovely. Sorted. Right, that concludes the video. Hope you find it useful. Obviously, if your pads and discs are knackered, obviously you're going to replace them at the time where it was all stripped to bits. But this is just basically a servicing video. But if you're replacing them, there's no difference in what I've done. But obviously, just chuck the old ones away, put the new ones on. But like I say, this was just a sort of recommission the brakes, so I didn't need to do all that. But yeah, as you can see, it's all perfectly good. Everything's fine in there. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope it helps somebody out in the long run. Thank you a lot. If you like, you like. If you don't, you don't. Subscribe. If not, share, do whatever. Thank you very much. Welcome again. Cheers. Thank you. Bye.